Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the tabernacle of David, the 144,000, 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, which primarily make up the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans here in the Americas, and the rest of the scattered Israelites, the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations. They have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black-only thing. And to the few Aquaf sisters that are listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. With the current events with this video, Yahweh Shai, who the world fraudulently calls JC, is on his way. And he is going to strike down Esau, Edom, and the powers that be, and then set up the tabernacle of David. All right? The 12,000 tribes will be the judges here on earth. The new government, the new world government, is not going to be Esau's NWO, as he's about to fill his belly because he's close to fulfilling that. All right, they just, the Russians just armed Iran with nuclear weapons, which just changed everything. Hence the reason why you see so much activity in South America and the Caribbean. All right, Trump trying to take Canada, trying to take Greenland, you know, because they know that they're going to, they're trying to get a backup plan because they know that they're going to lose in Asia, lose Western Asia. All right. At the possibility that the portion of Asia that they call Europe, fraudulently call Europe, Europe is in Asia, hence the word Eurasia. All right. They're going to lose all of that. So they're trying to reestablish themselves in South America, and it's not going to work. All right. The Lord is coming back to deal with you. Point blank, period. Let me read the scripture, then I'm going to play this video. You can see the name and the title of the video that was put up by the beloved brother. So the disclaimer has already been declared. So the first scripture is going to be, just going to go precept upon precept. Line upon line. Simple. This is, and most Christians don't even know what a precept is. And those that do now only know because of the Hebrew Israelites, primarily Great Millstone. I find it amazing how Christians rob and steal from us, you know, take our teaching methods, even use our precepts that they never use in those churches, because I know, because I was in them the whole first portion of my life. Never heard the precepts. All right. People are hypocrites. But then still don't want to acknowledge the truth. These pastors that rob and steal, now they're all of a sudden the Christians are going to the blue letter. They're looking up the Hebrew and the Greek, things that they never did. All right. But this is Zechariah 5 and verse 1. And it reads, "Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. And then he said unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the whole face of the earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off as this side of it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off as that side of it. And I will bring it forth, saith Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief." All right. Esau, Edom is the thief. America is stolen land. Every place where Esau, Edom is that is not Mount Seir, not the Caucasus Mountain, but Mount Seir. All right. They're on stolen land. All right. The Caucasus Mountain is their second mountainous home. Their second cave home. Their first cave home was Mount Seir, what they call Petra, sometimes called Selah. All right. Petra was also called Selah. And I will bring it forth, saith Yahweh of hosts. And it shall enter into the house of the thief, and enter into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, that it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof, and the stones thereof. Then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, Lift up now thine eyes, and see what it is that goeth forth. And they're seeing it with their telescopes. They're seeing it. Now I've seen, probably at this point, I've probably seen at least 50 of them. Or actually, I take that back. That one night we saw like maybe 100 plus in one night. So no. So I've seen hundreds of them at this point. Okay. Well over 100. And I remember seeing one that was just moving slowly with the brothers and prayed out loud and asked the Lord to show us a sign that, you know, that this wasn't a drone or anything. And it started it started moving in ways that a drone cannot move, and it started changing colors. And these sort of things happen over the camps of the Great Millstone all the time. All right. The brothers that teach the likewise doctrine. You'll never see a video with IUIC, with ISUPK, Genesis, or any other of these, especially those new add water Israelites. Those woke up a moment ago, 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, and all of a sudden they're elders. You never see chariots appear over them at their campsites. It just doesn't happen. Appear in the background as they're teaching. I had so many videos where I've seen it happen. I didn't even know it. People had pointed out to me. We saw the chariots dancing in the background. Okay? Esau Edom is in trouble. Is all this pressure that he constantly spraying the skies, making people sick, feel sick. All this wickedness that he's doing down here. And the Lord is the destroyer is coming to see him. All right.
Hey guys, Dabu 7. It looks like we've got some kind of phenomenon going on off the east coast of the United States. I'm going to say it's happening worldwide. This stuff has been going on forever. Call it a UFO, call it a UAP. This website that tracks all these sightings, so to speak, is saying there's a massive uptick off the east coast of the U.S. You can see in the image in the center on the bottom, a lot of the reports coming in, U.S. Navy officials warning that this could pose a threat to national security. We have Congress on the record here recently, not only showing us hitting a UFO with a Hellfire missile and blowing it into pieces, and those pieces staying with the aircraft, but they've also said that these underwater UFOs, so to speak, are moving at like hundreds and thousands of miles an hour, like insane speeds that should not be possible per the science that we know. Well, we're not being told everything. That's pretty clear. And they're obviously operating with some technology and some knowledge that we don't have and we're not working with. Tucker.
What's happening is that you're dealing with heavenly power. That's why it's beyond your comprehension. This is the power that created everything that you see, hear, smell, and touch. So what he's allowed man to achieve down here is literally an inkling of the power that it's had. All right. And you see it, the ones in the water here, I've never seen them go in and out of the water. My professor saw one when I broke down to the Chariots what was to him almost a decade ago. He received it right away because he saw something that came up out of, he used to live on the lakefront. He saw something from his window with his son. And then he was like, that ain't no plane, son. All right. And you see something like that, some go in and out of the water and then just take off and start flying. And they're moving in the water at speeds You know, man just doesn't have that technology. And there's nothing on earth. The one military leader told, there's no vehicle on earth that man has that can survive a direct hit from a Hellfire missile and it do no damage at all. It just, you know, wipe the dust off his shoulder, like the Jay-Z song. Esau, you in trouble, man. So go ahead and do what you're gonna do. Hurry up. The Lord gonna put the spirit on you to make you fight anyway. So, you know, but the faster that they, you know, we're 2 days away from November 1st, and the chaos has started already. What do you think it's gonna be like 2 weeks from November 1st?
Carlson came out and told all the millions that watch him in a form of soft disclosure that they are here. If you missed it, he said it. Broadcast this nationwide, worldwide, and told everybody listening they're here. And they're on the ocean floor, and they're inside this planet. Okay? So this disclosure isn't going to be what everybody thinks it's going to be. For whatever reason, thinks what Trump's going to come out and give some big statement on TV. Like, that's what they need to accept this or something. Maybe they do. They've got to reel in some of the rest of the crowd. But I'm going to tell you right now, soft disclosure's been happening. They've shown us more evidence than they ever have this year. And you've got this documentary dropping on the 21st that I'm telling you now, it's going to be loaded with a bunch of the rest. They're here.
I want to cue up a video that I've been given. And as before it starts, I'm going to describe. This was taken October 30th of 2024. This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb, or this object, off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile. You cannot see that drone. And so... I'm not going to explain it to you. You'll see exactly what it does. This is when it zoomed out, so you can still see it traveling. So, Mr. Knapp, have you heard about, events like this occurring? And what information might you have?
I have heard about events like this. I have heard about this event. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of our episodes a while back. We did not have the video, though. There are servers where there's a whole bank of these kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see. Occasionally some of that stuff gets out in the wild and it comes our way. It should be going to you. The public should be seeing this stuff.
What they're showing you that the internet is actually the most honest form of information. All right? Because information, what he just basically told you is that information mainstream is controlled. All right? Now, granted, people can, and they'll just tell you that, well, they can put anything on the internet. No, they put anything on the mainstream. The truth actually comes out freely.
And why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off.
And they know that we're speaking about the Chariots of Israel. They are not unidentified. They are not, they are aerial phenomenons. The UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenons, that they are identified. They IAPs, identified aerial phenomenons. They are the chariots of the Lord, and they're coming to take these red men, all right, they call themselves white, out of power. The ones who wear the penises hanging from their throats. That's what a necktie is. It's a phallic symbol.
They kept going.
it kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah. What the hell is that?
So
What
again,
was like that?
again, I'm not going to speculate what it is, but the question is, why are we being blocked from this information?
This event, Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of.
So, and there's another thing that they have to worry about is when the Lord returns, he's going to lift up that standard. And yes, they are here, just like the Lord's ground forces are here. You call them niggers and spics, savages, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that are actually of the elect. Not all of Israel, the elect of Israel. The Lord's going to lift up that standard. So we have no defense against your armies of ICE with their with their fully automatic weapons, their drones, their armored vehicles, their explosives. We have no defense against that. All right. Isaiah 59:19. So they shall fear the name of Yahweh from the west. See here. And his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith Yahweh. See, so in Jacob, only Jacob was given the law. Only they can transgress the law. The world and all the other nations were not given the law. All right? As simple as that. The Bible itself is a testimony of the truth. What makes you guilty is that you put your hands on the apple of the Lord's eye, which are his children, the children of Israel. And you picked up his book. All right, but the truth of the matter is Esau, Edom, nor the other nations are not under the law. It said, and the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith Yahweh, which is the transgression of the law is how you sin. You can only sin when you're under the law. So the only sinners are Israelites. And the ones that don't turn from their transgressions are going to die the death of the heathen. They're going to die right along with the other heathen nations. As for me, this is my covenant with them, saith Yahweh. My spirit is upon thee, and my words which I have put in thy mouth, and shall not depart out of my mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, saith Yahweh, from henceforth and for forever. That's why we're going to be an everlasting kingdom here on earth as it is in heaven. On earth as it is in heaven. On earth as it is in heaven. The Israelites will rule over all the people on the earth. And what you're looking at on the screen, after their 1,000 years of the most brutal slavery that mankind will ever hear of, they're going to make our slavery and our oppression under them look like a day at Disneyland compared to how brutal what they are about to go through. Hence why they fear that. And they should. Hence the reason why they want to call themselves white and Anglo-Saxons. And they want to be everything except what they really are, the nation of Edom. Right? Because they'll boldly claim and be proud about, saying how they rule and dominated the whole world. But they won't acknowledge that that was the role of Esau, Edom in the Bible. That only Esau, Edom would do that. And not on his own accord, because the Lord set him up to do it. So the Lord set you up from the beginning. He hated you. Just like the scripture says, he loved Jacob, but he hated Esau. So he gave you this temporary world and he let you run wild and do wickedly. And now that you've done so much damage and so much destruction and mistreated his people so bad, now the Lord, your sins have mounted up to the heaven. Now he's coming to visit your ass. 2nd Ezra 13:1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, a man waxed strong with thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen unto him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all burned that heard his voice, like the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. So basically, that's what Ezra is describing, the fire rays coming out of the chariots, coming out of those vehicles, the very ones that they're talking about. And the ginormous one that the Lord is in, and all the little ones that are going to come out of it. They showed you that in the movies. And what was that? In Independence Day. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of the number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. So this is going to happen in the midst of World War III. When World War III goes live, they're going to stop what's left of air forces, because America's going to be completely wiped out at that point. But their militaries will still be in different parts of the world fighting. All right. And so all the militaries of the world are going to stop fighting each other and trying to fight the Lord. This is what the Bible is telling you. It has always told you. And it says, and I beheld, and lo, he graved himself a great mountain. All right. Wait, Salaki, I left something out. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of the number, out of the four winds of the heaven, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. The sea meaning the space. All right. The heavens, the waters. All right. And the literal sea, because the chariots that are already here. And I beheld, and lo, he graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. So that gigantic ship, whatever they're trying to call it, Atlas or something, all right, gonna give it a Greek name. Man, the Lord gonna, y'all gonna get enough of trying to name shit. You Edomites, y'all gonna fucking learn. You're not in the place to name any goddamn thing. You red pieces of shit. It says, but I would have seen the region of the place where the heel was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. The Lord's going to put a spirit on you to fight anyway. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held the sword, nor any instrument of war. So, and when I always think of that scene, one of my favorite movies is Predator. Especially that scene when they start laying down the suppressing fire, trying to stop the thing. And you know, they were shooting down on the ground. The thing was up in the air. All right. But they're going to let everything that they have go. From their sidearms to their missiles to their 30 millimeter, their 20 millimeters, their missiles. They're going to, everything that they have. Scuds, tomahawks, everything they're going to fire, and it's going to do no damage, just like they showed you. It's going to do nothing to any of them. All right. And it says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held the sword or any instrument of war, but only I saw he sent out of his mouth. That's when those heavenly fire rays, like the ray gun in the movies, going to come out of those ships, the Death Star. All right. He sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath. And out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. So basically it's going to be just like I described, like a fire ray, like a tornado spinning of concentrated sunfire, the heat of the sun blasting at you. And they will all mix together, the blast and the fire and the flaming breath and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burned them up every one. So that upon a sudden an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only the dust and smell of smoke. When I saw it, I was afraid. It's going to burn them to ashes literally before your eyes, those who witness it. There's going to be nothing left of them but heaps of ash. And after it, I saw the man come down from the mountain and call unto him another peaceable multitude. All right. And who was that man that came down from the mountain? That was Yahushua himself. All right. One who in that peaceable multitude. Matter of fact, let's go to Revelation real quick. Something they like to ignore. This is Revelation 4:3. And it reads, and he that sat was to look upon, I mean, started verse 2. And immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one that sat on the throne. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. There was a rainbow round about the throne, and the sight like unto an emerald. All right. So, let's share with you what a jasper and a sardine stone looks like. All right, and he's going to be even darker than that. And pretty much that's how so-called Negroes and Latinos come. That's like you just saw. In Revelation 1, in the first chapter, the Lord is described as looking like the brass. Well, there's a so-called black man. He's nothing black about him. He's brown, holding a piece of brass. But what's painted in the Sistine Chapel in every Catholic church in America? Images of people that look like this lying piece of shit on the screen. All right? It also told you that there was a peaceable, he came down into a peaceable multitude. Who was that peaceable multitude? That peaceable multitude, let's go to Revelation 7 and 9. That was the scattered elect that was scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen that looked like the heathen. Revelation 7 and 9. And after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and all kindreds of people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with the white robes and palms in their hands. That's who that was. Those were those gathered, the ones that he gathered up. The scattered elect, scattered among the heathen. They have the appearance of the heathen. Then he's going to restore them. They're all going to look like the sardine and the jasper stone. They're all going to look like the bronze, like the brass. Get that shine, that gliding. You know, they used to call it shines because our skin shined. You notice Hamites, so-called Africans, their skin don't shine. They have a very dull and dirty color. You know, when they're darker, when they're dark. Same thing when you look with Elam, so-called Indians. I've seen Indians darker than Africans, and they look dirty. They don't have a shine to their skin. And if they do have a shine to their skin, you might want to check their lineage. They might be they've intermixed with some of the scattered elect. But the other nations, when they're dark, they don't have that shine to their skin. They don't have that beauty that Jacob has collectively. Back to 2nd Ezra 13. We'll finish up. All right. We read 12. I'm going to read 13 now. And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad and some were sorry, and some of them were bound, and other some brought them that were offered. Then I was sick through great fear, and I was awakened and sad. And the ones who were bound are the elites of the Edomites. These people on the screen, because they're going to go into those bunkers and survive all this fire and all this war. And the scriptures make it very clear that we're going to go into the caves of the rock. We're going to go into those bunkers, those domes, those deep underground military bases. All right. Though they dig into hell, to the earth, that's all hell is the ground. All right. Matter of fact, let's get that before I wrap it up. Let's get that. It's Amos 9:2. And it reads, though they dig into hell, hell is the ground, dummies. Look it up. You go into the blue letters and look up the Greek and the Hebrew now. All right. Thence shall my hand take them, though they climb up into heaven, because some going to try to escape by jumping on ships. Thence will I bring them down. Though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will, because they got those military bases like the one in Colorado Springs that are dug into the mountainsides, going back to their original habitations, digging into the mountains, just like Mount Seir. What is the place? Mount Weather. Okay. I will search and take them hence. And though they hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. So some of them are going to try to hide. See, in those underground, in submarines and in those underground military bases that are underwater military bases. And the Lord is going to send Leviathan to get them. There's no escaping what's coming to you. So with that, I want to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rekah HaKodash, Kwam Yasharala, Abad Babal.